Okay, hello, here's another temporary Australian collectors chat. It's just me and Rob this week, so we've got a lot to talk about. So hello, Rob.
How you going, Ryan?
Yeah,
good to see you again.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off by saying one thing. Thank God I don't collect Prime 1 1/3 scale. That's all I can say. After what dropped this week, look, my wallet here is breathing a sigh of relief. It's breathing a sigh of relief.
Bloody hell!
What a crazy week! Can't remember so much highly anticipated material dropping in a long time. Maybe even more so than a Comic-Con. More so than a Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's what I say. Prime 1, they seem to be delivering on everything at the moment. So I'll tell you what, we'll start with one that I really want to talk about, and you'll probably you'll get it once I bring it up. Because, well, actually, I'm just going to say I want to bring up this Man of Steel figure. I want to bring this up because it deserves talking about. And with me being a Hot Toys collector, as you all know, if anyone knows me, what's the most important thing for me with a figure? It's head sculpt.
Head sculpt.
Exactly. And
that's me. Hello, me.
Yeah, just trying to. Oh, there we are. Okay, so here we are with the head sculpt for Henry Cavill by Prime 1. All I can say is just wow. What a fantastic looking piece.
Is that the 1/3 or is it? I think that's half scale, that is.
I'm not sure. This is the one that's paired off with the rest. So it's 1/3, just like the rest of them.
That's the Batman v Superman stuff. There he is. I think that's half scale, that stuff. So you're gonna need plenty of room to display it.
Right. Well, I'll just have to say I'm very impressed with this head sculpt. I think they've captured Henry Cavill beautifully. I think it's on par with the Hot Toys. I wouldn't say better, but it's definitely on par.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know what it's made of. Is it a resin, head sculpt, PVC, or is it? Doesn't look like polystone. I don't think.
It will not be polystone.
I guess so. No.
I mean, this is the head sculpt.
Whatever they use, it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this here, and I'll grab the Hot Toys one out. The Hot Toys. So here's the Hot Toys one. Now, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me, Rob, but I think the Hot Toys is spot on.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, that is Henry Cavill through and through. There's nothing about that that's off it at all. Whereas, you know, and that's what I go by now. That's like the benchmark for me. You know?
Yeah, no, that looks great.
The best is the best. But when I look at this from Prime 1, I have to go, holy shit, cracking work from them. I'd actually say this is possibly as good as the Hot Toys.
That certainly looks good, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm really impressed with the sculpt work. So props to Prime 1 for that. And I just want to do a little comparison. Okay, you know how much you pay for Sideshow and stuff. Look at that.
I know what you're going to show. And there he is.
Here we are. Look at this shit. What the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that, eh? That's
a PVC head sculpt has got a very shitty paint job. That's what that is.
Yep. And what a turd that is.
Hmm.
I mean, right here. Here's the Hot Toys one. Here's a quick look at the Hot Toys. Look at that. That is fucking quality right there. You know, like that there is quality. You know, and then like
then you
this,
got the sideshow.
which just, yeah, Hot Toys leaves it for dead, and now I can actually say Prime One does the exact same. And I'm going to go out and just say this. This might be a big thing to say, but I don't know. You might feel differently. People may feel differently. But I think Prime One, out of the statue manufacturers, like they are the best, I think, so far. For what they
They're
put out.
certainly comers, aren't they? Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff they dropped at this convention over the weekend, it's, people are going crazy for it, turning heads left, right, and centre.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and there's the Batman as well.
I mean, if we gauge what they've put out, the Transformers, the Turtles that they've done so far, their stuff coming out of the factory as production is pretty close to their protos, that's really something to be said. If they're matching their prototypes, then and people seem happy with their stuff, people are willing to pay the big dollars. Well, they're asking for their things, so they must be doing something very, very right.
Yeah, totally agree.
It seems to be this. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right. You go ahead. You go on.
It just seems to sort of the way a lot of these companies go in terms of being a relatively newish enterprise. I mean, they're going to be trying their darndest to make sure their pieces are of absolute quality, so they don't besmirch their name before their name gets built, if you can understand what I mean.
Yeah, that's it.
But that looks really good. The armored Batman.
Yeah, I think the only downside to these Batman v Superman pieces is I think poses are one, but at the same time, I understand why they've done that, because it's when you've got something that size, if it's in too much of a dynamic pose, you're not going to have anywhere to put it, are you? So it's that sort of toss off. Like between, do I go real dynamic or do I go like that?
If you had a really dynamic pose in like a half scale, the room that it takes up, I mean, something like that, it's a straight up museum pose. You've got just that amount of space to display it. If it's in a dynamic pose, the space you're going to need is that much more, because you're going to have, obviously body limbs going in, all sorts of directions. If it's, really dynamic, as a lot of companies seem to be going now.
Yeah. Like I say, the overall quality of these just ships on Sideshow, and then some.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Sideshow do anything from this film. They with what they've only done. I think it's been how long since the Nolan trilogy ended, and they're only. How long ago was that? When was the last film? When did that come out? I can't even remember. It was years ago now.
Well,
2012. So we're coming on 4 years, and they've only just put up a pre-order for the Bale Batman from The Dark Knight. 4 years after, 3.5 years after the last film came out. So, and the Cavill that they did for Man of Steel, I mean, obviously that didn't turn out very well. The Chris Reeve, version hasn't set any fire. I mean, the only fire that thing's set is people burning the thing because they didn't like it. So it'll be, I think, with pieces like, Prime One doing pieces like this, it'd be really interesting to see a Sideshow do eventually jump on the bandwagon, because I mean, even when you look at the Marvel pieces that they do, it's the ratio of comic Marvel versus film Marvel is weighed heavily in terms of the comic interpretation. And with their Henry Cavill not selling the first time, are they going to go and visit him again? I would probably have my doubts that they'd do that.
Yeah, you've just said it yourself. That the Hot Toys Man of Steel is perfect, right? They nailed everything about him. It's a masterpiece of a figure, really, and one of the best Superman figures you can get. But even that of that quality did not sell.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's more related to the film sort of being, let's say, lukewarm in terms of its reception.
Yeah, I don't know about you about that, but that always confused me because I watched the film, went in with a very open mind, and I thought that it was a very, very well put together film, very well directed, and made a lot more sense than even the Christopher Reeve. And I know the Christopher Reeve's always going to be special to some people, but even you could probably say it yourself. Yeah. There's things about the Christopher Reeve one that just in today's world would just look stupid, wouldn't it?
These things are modern myths. They're retellings of the old Greek mythologies, and every generation has their own version of that character, don't they?
That's it.
For me, Chris Reeve was and is Superman, and that film, that first one especially, is a large reason why I'm sort of now will have all of these pieces in my collection. And from the moment I started collecting pieces like this, I always wanted a Chris Reeve in my collection somewhere, But that, again, my dad took me to see that first film when I was a little boy, and that was really, for me, that was the first sort of exposure to that kind of comic book sensibility, that type of world. That, and probably the Adam West, getting reruns of the Adam West show when I was a little boy as well. Yeah. So again, but that's every generation has their own versions of these characters. And,
yeah. I totally agree, and I know you can't satisfy everybody, but like I say, I always thought the Man of Steel film, the way it was directed, and the certain things that they put in the film, there was so much thought that went into it, really. And I thought, as a more mature, darker, grittier Superman film, I thought it delivered. Really everything you could have wanted, I know people get pissed off with the fact he killed Zod at the end, but the part that gets me is he didn't want to. He had to make a decision. They put him in a corner, basically, and, he has to make a decision, him or the human race, and I love that scene. And I know some people hate that scene, but I thought it was awesome because he doesn't kill. No, he doesn't, but he's been put in this corner and he has to make a decision. It's either this innocent family's life or Zod's life, and he desperately wants just to reason with Zod, but he can't, and he has to do it. And that scene, I think most people didn't get it, but I totally got it, what they were trying to do. They put him in that position where he's, like I say, he's got to make the decision, and it was hard for him, and he's kind of alone after that, isn't he? He doesn't have anybody else.
If he doesn't do it, it's sort of, the destruction of the earth, isn't it? His new home. So, you can totally understand the sort of, the motivation for his actions in terms of doing that.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. I've seen the film a couple of times. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it either way, to be honest with you. I actually, the film that I like that Zack Snyder directed that I really think is really underrated was Watchmen.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that, even though it is being changed fairly substantially from the graphic novel. And I'm not sure the end needed to be changed like it was, but the tone, I think he gets pretty spot on in that. I really, of all Zack Snyder's films, Watchmen is the one I tend to find myself revisiting the most. I really, really enjoy it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that one once or twice before, but it's
Have you read the original book?
No, that Watchmen is actually one of the only ones I haven't really, read anything on. But I'm aware of who. I've been aware of who they are. They've just never been a big thing for me. But the film, I think, if I remember right, I enjoyed it. But I mean, on the topic of Zack Snyder for me is an awesome director. I love 300. I love Man of Steel. He does some good films, and I don't get the critic hate for him, really. I don't get it at all. He's like just one of them that people like to bash. But to be honest, I think he's got more meaning in his films than a lot of these big budget directors who get hyped to the no ends. I mean, it's like Christopher Nolan. I like Christopher Nolan. He's done the Batman movies and that. But for God's sake, he is not the best director ever, lived. He's not.
No one is. I don't sort of like, lists of best directors and all that kind of stuff, because they're all so different, and they all have very different sensibilities, and they produce very different work. So making sort of lists about who's the best and who might be number 10 is just, I think that's pretty pointless, to be brutally honest with you. I don't mind Zack Snyder. I don't think he's a brilliant, groundbreaking director, but I don't think he's a terrible director as well, like a lot of people sort of write him off. I find the majority of his films perfectly watchable. That's not to say I find them brilliant films, but certainly I can put them on and watch them and enjoy them for what they are.
That's it.
And even his Dawn of the Dead remake, which I've seen a few times and isn't terrible, which, remaking Dawn of the Dead that's sacrilegious, that is. Jeez. But he managed to make something that was reasonably watchable. Props for that. Again, doesn't touch the original, doesn't come anywhere near the original, but it's watchable, which is better than most remakes are. God,
that's it. I mean, of the year, when Man of Steel came out, Man of Steel was my #1 film of the year. I think it was paired off with Pacific Rim. That's what it is for me. Those two films were amazing to me. And both I had expectations, but both I didn't know whether I was going to like them or not. Man of Steel, I was thinking, are they going to pull it off? I like Superman, I've seen it. I like some of his comics, but how are they going to pull this off in a more gritty, grounded way? So that was always the thing going into that film. And then obviously Pacific Rim. I'm a massive Godzilla fan. I love Godzilla. I've got a picture over here signed in Japanese and English by the guy who was actually in the original suit in the original 1950 Godzilla. So I'm a big.
That I'd like to have. That I would like to have.
Yeah, I always remember that. When I was little, bought me that, and he had that put on my wall. But it's only now when I'm older, I'm like, oh my God, I have this.
That's great. That's a beautiful piece. Man, you got to do a review of that. Do a review of that. Put it on your channel.
I will do. I'll go give you a looking on that one. But Pacific Rim for me was like going back to classic kaiju films. And that film again is amazing. I can watch that film anytime, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, it's like the most awesome thing to watch. I'm still disgusted with myself. I haven't bought the Sideshow premium formats of them, because they are some of Sideshow's best work, in my opinion. I don't care if they're not exactly in scale with one another or anything like that. I have seen them in person, some of them, and they look absolutely amazing. Like the sculpture and the presentation.
Sorry to interrupt. There was an Australian collector who had some of the sideshow pieces, some of those Pacific Rim pieces, and he had. I can't remember the company. It might have been NECA, maybe, that had made the same pieces, but they looked. The NECA pieces were alongside the sideshow looked fantastic. You know, they lit up, and I think they had a little bit of posability in them. And they were, I can't remember what the price was, but they were a lot cheaper than the sideshow version. But they were really, really nice. I remember I can't remember the video or who the guy was, but I remember he was an Australian collector, and he had this side by side, the sideshow piece and the NECA piece. And they were really, really close in terms of quality, but the NECA was obviously $100, where the sideshow was $400 or whatever they were charging for those things. So if anyone's interested in getting them, track down those NECA figures. Let's have a quick look and see.
Well, actually,
I'm just relying on my rusty memory.
Okay, we've got the Gypsy Danger from NECA. I'll go get it, and I'll give you a quick look.
Oh yeah, okay, beautiful. Okay, so I'm just looking at, while Ryan's getting that, I'm just looking at pictures of the new Sideshow Spider-Man PF, which some people have just taken delivery of. Let's see if I can share those, and maybe we'll see if we can
Well, I don't know if you see that monster.
BB Tour, yeah, that's it. And they had did they make a couple more?
I can't remember. I think they did. They made the knife head. The knife head wasn't that great though. If I remember right, it came out quite cheap looking, which was a big disappointment because after they made this one, the quality of this one is fantastic.
Well, I just remember seeing that review, and the NECA piece was like right against the sideshow, and like I said, it was so much. I don't know how much did you pay for that. I can't remember what the guy said in the video, but I know it was a lot cheaper.
I think it was close to $100. This is my brother. Little brother's, he obviously loves Pacific as well. And like I say, you just look at it. This camera's not going to, over the chat's not going to do it much justice. No. But you look there and try and focus.
They'll just have to take our word for it. Believe me, it's for what you're paying. It's a real quality piece.
Well,
above and beyond the sort of sideshow maquettes or whatever the hell they made.
I mean, the back is a perfect example. You can probably gauge there. I mean, if you can see like the pistons and details in there, it's rather insane. But they actually got the scans from the CGI in the film.
Yeah.
So NECA were actually, Guillermo del Toro actually sent them to NECA and said, you can have full access. So they had full access and to do whatever the hell they wanted, and it shows. You just look at that and go, awesome.
Yeah. And he's pretty good that way, isn't he, del Toro?
Yeah, he's awesome. I love the guy. He's comes up with some cool shit.
I love his Spanish language films.
Yeah.
Devil's Backbone, Kronos.
Yeah.
I wish he'd make more of them. I really do.
Yeah, I love Blade.
Get the Hollywood stuff and just go and make small films. But I understand why he does it. One for himself, one for the studio.
Yeah. I mean, I love Blade 2. My favourite Blade film is actually Blade 2. Nothing touches that film for me.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed, which I know a lot of people found boring, but I enjoyed it when it recently came out, well, last year now. That Crimson Peak. I didn't actually mind that film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, to be honest with you. So
it's
no spoilers, please.
Yeah, I'll give you this. This is just a walk in, so you don't get too thingy. It's not a woo scary, ghost story. It's a ghost story. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. You watch it. Actually, when you watch it, let me know what you think.
Will do. I'll get around to watching it one day.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. For what it was. Wasn't the best film I've ever seen, but it was certainly a good film. So yeah, but yeah, it's interesting you say that when you're putting NECA and Sideshow next to one another.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I made a comment a while back, actually, on one of the chats about the NECA Christopher Reeve looking more like Christopher Reeve than the premium format did. And it does. I will admit the head sculpts on even NECA now are...
Is it a quarter scale, the NECA one? I think it's quarter scale, isn't it? Yeah. The head sculpt on it pretty good.
Yeah.
The thing about Chris Reeve, though, in those films is if you go and look at some stills, like, for example, it was on TV the other night on, I think it was Gem, I think it was. And so I was just flicking through and it was on, so I left it on. And if you look at Chris Reeve at the end of the film, when he's in, well, I can't remember where it's, southern Mexico or somewhere, wherever the hell he is, around the Hoover Dam sequence, he's really buffed up. He's huge in that end sequence. But that stuff was all shot like in 1978, sort of early 78. If you go back and you watch the stuff where he's in the Fortress of Solitude, that stuff was all shot in April of 77. So we're talking almost a year. And his appearance is really, I mean, if you know the films really intimately, his appearance is really, really different. Because the films, they were shooting Superman 1 and 2 at the same time. Originally, they were shooting both of them at the same time. And the shoot went for ever and ever and ever. And Chris Reeve, he put on a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle through the shoot. They actually had to go back and reshoot some of his sequences because his appearance had physically changed so much through the shoot of the film. So it's, when you're looking at Chris Reeve, it's you got to sort of pick where did they get the source from in terms of, because I think when Sideshow did their premium format, if I remember correctly, again, I'm dragging this out of my rusty memory, they had pictures, like the stills of Chris Reeve in the costume in New York. These were the sort of more famous publicity stills. Now, those publicity stills were shot in, I think it was May, June 77. So it was really early in the shoot, because they shot all of Marlon Brando's stuff in April 77, and then they went to New York and they went to Canada and they did the stuff in New York City, and a lot of the Kansas sequence stuff, they shot all of that on location. Then they came back to England and shot all of the stuff in the sound stages through the rest of 77 and into 78. And I had to go back out again and do a lot of plate work and stuff. But those stills, those publicity stills that Sideshow were using as their reference, were again taken from really early in the film. And the other thing that's a giveaway is his hair is not the same through certain sequences, again, because they hadn't perfected his look entirely, because the film, again, if you know the history, the film was really rushed in terms of its production. But hey, I could dedicate a whole chat to Richard Donner's films. I love them. It's very, very, very interesting history in those films that's never really been written about or talked about. But that's for another chat. I'll probably bore everyone with.
have to do
Not,
one.
not too many people. Not too many people care about movies from 1978. Besides myself, maybe me and Mark. That'd be about it.
I always love hearing about the history of films and how they made. They fascinate me. All the things that went wrong. I think the biggest one that always the production of is Jaws. The production of that film, shit they went through. They almost it was a complete flop, and they were like, "Oh no, this is not going to work."
Yeah, Jaws is that's a great one where the making of the film is perhaps more interesting than the actual end product, and the end product is superb. It's brilliant, and the making of the film is more interesting than the end product. Superman, those first two Superman films, just coming back, the production history on them is. People don't really know that much about it, but the production history on those two films is really, you could make a great drama series about that in and of itself. It's very, very, very interesting how those films are put together, and the crap that was going on behind the scenes is amazing. And the fact that all the rubbish that was going on behind the scenes in those films, and like Jaws, that nothing worked. It took them, the film was supposed to come out in '77 at Christmas time, '77. So that's when Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out, '77 Christmas. The production was so far behind schedule that it got pushed back a whole year. It came out '78 Christmas time, and the budget on the thing, because they were shooting the two films simultaneously and nothing was working. Supposedly the budget, this has never been official anywhere, but the budget on when the first film came out, they had about 1.5 films shot. They had the first film done and half of the second one, and supposedly the budget at that time was somewhere between $40 to $50 million US, and that's back in 1970. Like Star Wars come out in '77, cost $10 to $11 million. The budget on this thing was supposed to be around the $40 million mark. So it was like, you wouldn't
have thought that, would you, compared to Star Wars, considering like all the effects that Star Wars was like always known for its visual effects of its time.
Yeah.
And
well, it's just, again, people should read up on the history of that. I mean, I think Brando for 2 weeks. He was on the film for 2 weeks. That was it. They had him for 2 weeks, and I think his salary was something like, it was a couple of million, maybe $3 million for 2 weeks. Hey? You got $3 million. Yeah, $3 million for 2. Yeah, it was the highest amount of money anyone got at that stage. $3 million for 2 weeks, and he had gross points at the end as well. Like he had 2% of the gross, not the net. This is the gross. So before the film even went into profit, he was making money out the back end. That's why he didn't fit. That's why he wasn't in Superman 2. He was costing the producers too much money, so they took him out of Superman 2. Anyway, like I said, that's for another chat.
Yeah. Okay.
You got anything else to show, or shall I jump into these pictures?
What, like Pacific Rim, or?
Oh, anything. Have you got any more pictures to show? Any more bits and pieces you've collected?
I've actually got a few lined up. There's actually a few I want to talk about. A lot of them are Batman related, but what I'll do is I've got Prime 1. I'll leave the Prime 1 thing up and going for a little while, and I'll jump across to just another company that I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've heard of these, but do a screen share, and I just want. This is going to be interesting to see what you think of these. So, just a second. Right, you see this here? This.
Yeah. Mezco.
Now this. Oh yeah, from Mezco. Now, how big do you think they are? The scale.
I've heard of them. No idea. I'll take a guess and say 1/12.
Yeah, you're bang on. It's 1/12. But
there you go.
looking at them, you would not think it, would you? Just how well put together they are.
It's pretty small, 112.
It is, and you think that's 6 million.
Oh, wow.
Individually stitched, everything. They've even done comic book ones, and the articulation on them as well, Rob, is absolutely insane. I can't tell you how cool they are. And I'll give you a quick look as well. Here is the Henry Cavill head sculpt. Now keep in mind as well, this is 1/12. Look at that. For a 1/12 piece. So you've got these, you know, and they're super articulated. It's really cool to look at, and that. And then you've got these as well. I think this is it. But yeah, you see this here. This is they've done the dark.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Man, what are we going to get next?
Yeah.
Have you seen that sort of? We might get little, I don't know, 1/100th figures in the eye of a needle or something. You know, that sort of needle art that people do.
Yeah. 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 It's. But I just think that. Oh, these are also, I thought, they tick your box as well. They do Star Trek.
Oh, that's nice.
And the likenesses on them as well, if it focuses, are incredible. That's the Leonard Nimoy one is insane. I mean, if I go to the top here, and what I'll do is this is how I type on this computer, by the way.
Oh my god.
So we've got the Star Trek. Oh, Remco. Bloody hell. Mezco. Right, I'll go back up. Sorry for that. So, we got
bloody autocorrect.
Yeah. Now that is, I'm not kidding you now when I say this. That is the head sculpt for a 1/12 figure.
Yeah, they can do wonders now. These smaller scales. It's good for 1/12.
And it's a headbanger, that one. It is. Really, really impressive. And you know that there, like the phone and that, it flips up and everything. It's like the details that they put into them. This Mezco are absolutely awesome. I mean,
there's a company in the UK that does. I don't know. You probably know of them. That does the Doctor Who 1/6 scale figures. I can't remember the name of them, but they're really floating around. They're fantastic. They are very, very, very good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these are the Mezco again. I mean, and they got like special wires in the cape, so you can like do that with it. So you can put them in these like insane poses. You can even have it so it's like on a special stand, and if you've got a picture of it here, where you can have basically he's almost like this here. You can actually do that. Have him in that pose, flying down. There's another one here, like that, and that's all with wire inside, and the definition on them and everything. It's just, I mean, it's awesome, you know.
Yeah,
part of me wishes, I know, a part of me wishes as well they do bigger scale, just so, because that same sort of idea, but do it in a bigger scale, same sort of articulation, man. You know, they'd be absolute sellers, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that there, battle damaged face on the Batman, like battered and bruised and shit. It's just insane, like the level of detail they go to, you know, put these figures out. It's just really, really impressive. So, yeah, so is that that one there from Mezco, and I think the next one I will probably show you anyway will be my bat figure of the week. So what I'll do is I will let you continue on at this point.
You got plenty to choose from.
So,
Prime one stuff. Take your pick.
Oh well, it's a piece actually I've got on order, and I don't know if I've spoke to you about this, but I'll do it in after you've shared some of your pictures as well.
Okay. I'll do this. I'll run through these quickly then, and then you can. Where am I going here? There we go.
And Rob, have you got your Blu-ray release section this week? Do you want to do that?
Let me see if I can grab it if it's at hand. No, I'll have to. Let me see if I'll have to think where I'll put it. Anyway, can you see that?
Yes, I can. Oh, what
okay, so that's.
I'll share it on screen, share, Google Hangouts. Share. I think that's the one. Or maybe not that one. That's a bit trippy. Just how do I do that? Oh, there we are.
Right, so you're looking at TIE Fighter or TIE Interceptor? Yeah, that's the Alliance TIE Interceptor. It's I just grabbed off of somewhere through the week. It's supposedly coming. Yeah. So it's oh, here we go. Disappeared, have I? No. Let's go back. There we are. Put it down. Okay, and can you see that one?
Yes. Wow. That looks awesome.
That's a custom. That's Cable by Salt and Pepper, and that's what folks are going to be getting if they have managed to jump on the pre-order for that. So don't know, Sideshow. It's quarter scale, so it would fit in with all your Sideshow pieces if that's what folks are collecting. But that is the Salt and Pepper custom Cable. I'm not getting it myself. Wish I was. It looks fantastic though.
Is that a light up eye? I can see.
Yeah, it's light up as well.
Fuck yeah, that is incredible, man.
For a custom piece, it's pretty good, isn't it? Wait, I've got a few more to show you down the line. One that I am getting. This is something you might be interested in. This is the Batmobile version 2, 89 Cinemaquette, and it's. I don't know if you've seen the first one, enormous, with all the smoke coming out the back end. It's got a Batman figure in there. It all lights up. You get these two little bits that go with it, the Penguin Commando and the Batarang prop as well. So if you've got deep pockets, and I know you're a Batman collector with deep pockets, Ryan, this one could be for you.
Deep, I wish I had bloody deep. Oh my god, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
man.
It's incredible. It's huge as well, and I can't remember how much the first one went for, but it was thousands. It was thousands of dollars. You know.
Well, we're very tempted to get the Hot Toys one very soon.
Yeah,
that one we've seen that floating around for maybe.
I think behind the Adam West Batmobile, that's my favourite version of it. I love it. That's a great design. It
is. It's practical yet just cool and gothic looking at the same time. It's like realistic but stylized.
Absolutely. Looks great. It's a great beast of a machine. Okay, so this is the Cinemaquette Iron Man 3rd scale. This is what someone's got out of the box. Some of the initially when this turned up, People had issues with the paint apps on it, which again, for a piece that's costing thousands, you wouldn't expect that. But other folks have got theirs in and they've got clean paint lines on them. So it just might be a case of if you're lucky and get a good one, then fantastic. Otherwise, bad luck. But that's what people are getting out of the box. Nice piece. 1/3 scale again, huge.
That base is...
I don't know if I've got it up here. There's the Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt in there. Looks pretty good as well. That's the silicone head, and it's got the real punched hair in there. Looks good. Usually they do their punched hair, and it looks. I mean, the problem with doing punched hair is you can't shrink hair. Hair is what it is, but in this, the use of the mustache and the eyebrows, it works really well. If you look at some of those other cinemaquettes, like the Bruce Lee and the Godfather, even, and the what was the other one? Even the first the Arnie from T3, the hair on them is all a bit strange because you've got this one-third body, but you don't have 1/3 hair because they're sort of punching real hair into it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got more. Okay, here's one for Helmy. If Helmy had been on this week, this is, remember the turtle that he showed a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
He unboxed his turtle. Well, this is the same Mondo turtle. This is the first turtle, just straight up white, pencil lines with the coloured bandanas. There was only 300 of these worldwide, and they're already going for stupid money. So if anyone's a real collector of the turtles out there, you might want to jump on one of these, but don't expect to get it for anything like retail, big dollars. Tell me, that's one for you if you're watching. Okay, so this is one I got from a week ago. Maestro on Throne, coming from Halimar, and the Juggernaut. Now, the Juggernaut, this is one for Elwyn. Elwyn, if you're watching out there, this is what you're getting. I know he's got this piece pre-ordered. I've got it pre-ordered as well. This is a custom piece here, the one on the right, and those figures are all in scale with each other. So that's the Sideshow Red Hulk PF, the new one, and that's the Juggernaut next to it. Enormous thing.
Awesome. That jug looks very, very nice.
Yeah, it's huge. It's enormous, and I think he's got a couple of switch out hands on his. He got in really early. I'm not getting that on mine, unfortunately, but it's really looks like it's going to be a nice piece. Yeah, that was the only one I got. This was just a scale picture that I got. So you got obviously the XM Phoenix and all along. Next up is this is the Iron Studios Spidey quarter scale statue.
Oh wow!
Yeah, look at the detail on it. Insane. I personally think there's probably too much detail in it. It tends to be. I think Spidey tends to get a bit lost in all of the steel structure, the stairs, the glass. You've got Doc Ock's tentacle and a pumpkin bomb in there, and if we flick around or get closer, there's Spidey's camera up in the girders with the webbing around it, taking a photo. And where's the other one? If I can get it up, there it is. That's from the other side. You got the Oscorp logo. Really nice piece. I think personally probably a little too much going on there. I think it's a little too busy. That would be my but looks really nice. Now, Iron Studios in the last day or two, supposedly their Captain America, the Chris Evans from Age of Ultron, and the Iron Man that they did, I think it's the Mark 43, the one where he's leaping off the log. The ESs on those have been increased, but they've only been increased, from what I've read, for Australia, which is really, really strange. Yes, supposedly I saw a post somewhere where they're making an extra. I don't know why this number was chosen, but an extra 181 Captain Americas just for Australia, which is, I don't know why us. Someone from
they kind of distribute to Pop Culture, because Pop Culture have the monopoly over Australia.
Well, I was talking to a guy in, I don't know if you know of, what are they called? Zing, which is, I think, Icon Collectibles. I think their parent company is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They supposedly are the ones who have put this, I don't know whether it's an order or that's the company who's going to be distributing these things. And they're going to cost about 1,100, 1,200 Australian. Again, so if you're a deep pockets collector and you're in Australia, or you're an overseas collector and you know someone in Australia and you're after those pieces, we will be able to get them. So it's I don't know why Australia. Who knows? I mean, it's a very strange thing.
If I remember right, Rob, Icon and Pop Culture are the same branch. Icon are like the warehouse or the guys that get it in.
Yeah, the suppliers.
Yeah. So, and then they're the guys that obviously sell the products. So
yes,
they would have done that. So Pop Culture can get the monopoly on a lot of things. I mean, they've been doing that with a lot of collectibles lately, where other companies aren't shipping to Australia even because Pop Culture have got a deal. So
it just seems a bit strange that it'll all be coming here. I can understand maybe a sort of Asian allotment. I know Sideshow in the past have done an international version. For example, when they released the Patient Zero premium format, the zombie version, that was, I think it was 100 on the exclusive. I think it was 300 on the reg, and then they did another 300, which they called an international version. So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I've read though about that. So we'll stop looking at Spidey's bum. There's another one from Profile where you got the stairs.
I've got the feeling the same as you. I think it's well executed, but it's got a lot going on. It's almost like too much that you can't appreciate it all.
Yes. I think I prefer the simplicity or relative simplicity of the Comiket over something like this. This has just got so much going on in it. But hey, horses for courses. I'm sure there are folks out there that really enjoy it. And there's one without the black background, just so you get a.
Honestly, I think if you're one of those collectors that has a collector's room and you have like room to just put one piece in the center, this is that piece, because you said it's quarter scale, right?
Yeah.
Think about that, a quarter scale Spider-Man, so something the equivalent of the size of one of my Hot Toys quarter scales.
Yep, and all that backdrop.
It's going to be huge. So if I was you, if you've got like a room and you've got like a center area where you've got like a table, you put one collectible on, buy this and stick it there, it will look awesome, because then you can do it from all angles then.
Yes, it would look good in the round. We're getting a lot more collectibles being made like that now, I think, where you need to have them on a, like you say, on a pedestal, some things that you can walk around and look at it from all angles, above, below, profile, however you want to look at it. Just because of the crazy amount of detail these companies are putting into them now. This is the Kier. I think that's how you pronounce it. Kier. Dead. One of the Court of Sideshow's Court of the Dead. I think this is production photos, I think. So this is for people soon. I haven't got this ordered. I don't own any of the Court of the Dead. I'm not really a huge fan of it, to be honest. But these were just, I think, production photos. And there's one unmasked. But, she's a girl with a nice body. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of people jumping all over her, pun intended.
But, I think they look fantastic, the Court of the Dead.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, to be brutally honest. Right from the get-go, it just doesn't do anything for me, to be honest. And the fact that Sideshow are charging what they're charging for these pieces when they're non-licensed is just, you know, they're just taking the piss, to be brutally honest. You know, I'm not paying that kind of money. Pardon me?
What prices are they charging for a
I think she was put up for pre-order 18 months ago, I think. So she was $400, but the newer ones they've just put up for pre-order $600. The last one they put up was $600 US, which is, yeah, Jesus is exactly right. I think Jesus is about the only one who can afford them. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and again, that's a non-licensed product. They're not paying any licensing fees on yet they're just as much, if not more expensive than a licensed product. I mean,
yeah, that is a bit strange.
That doesn't make any sense any way you look at it, other than Sideshow just want to cash in. Ching ching. Anyway, let's go on. And we were talking about Sinestro. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, leaning and falling over. This is a photo of a Sinestro. You can have a look at him there. Don't take my word for it. Have a look at the picture, and that's what happens to a Sinestro.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really like Sinestro as a character. Or
no,
do I?
I don't own it. I just thought it was interesting that this is, you know, if anyone out there is watching and is an owner of Sinestro, you might want to keep a very, very close eye on it, or else it might be doing this.
Whoever this person is that has this, please just remove the Sinestro, or else you're going to knock over the Batman and the Wonder Woman, which are two amazing pieces.
It's going to be dominoes, isn't it? Sinestro are going to Batman, Batman are going to Wonder Woman, and then we'll have nothing left.
Trust me, that one figure is not worth two other great pieces. No. just slide it off the side and just let it fall. You know,
it'd be nice to see, though. It'd be nice to see. What do we get here? I don't think we need to sort of go into this. A Prime 1 Red Hood. These were some cleanups. I'm sure people have seen this already, and after the WonderCon, folks will be seeing probably a million other pictures of it, or whatever it was, Wonderfest, WonderCon, whatever they were at. This one was interesting. This is a custom. Sideshow just released the Predator 2 Marquette quarter scale piece that everyone jumped on after they put out that 20% off coupon. This is the head sculpt with quills that have been added. So someone's taken their head sculpt and very deftly and very intricately and very professionally added all these quills. So
it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
I think the head sculpt itself though looks pretty bad. I
think it's the paint job around these sort of the ridges are over his eyes. Those sort of lines are very.
It's just like the mouth. If you look at the mouth, if you move your arrow like close to the mouth, like where the cheeks would be, roughly the cheeks, right there, it looks like a kid at frigging kindergarten painting them. You know what I mean? Like, I look at that and I go, first thing, when you said custom, I thought, fuck, is that a custom head sculpt entirely? Because, you know, when you get shitty customs online, and I look at that and I go, that does not look very good at all. But the thing they've added is pretty cool. Yeah, I like the.
I thought that was pretty good. That, you know, I mean, the Sideshow has none of the quills, which are on the original suit, and this person's gone and done the hard work for them. So it could have been done, but Sideshow chose not to do it. And this is nice. This is the Pop Culture Shock Judge Dredd film version, Carl Urban.
Oh,
yes, looks nice. That I'm thinking about picking up. I might just get a reg from somewhere locally, or maybe Big Bad Toy Store, because I don't want to. You know, PCS are really iffy in terms of their website and ordering, so I might just pick up a reg. But that looks nice.
I mean, I've got the art figure spread from the film, 160 art figure. sculpt on. It's insane. It looks just like Carl Urban with the helmet on anyway. So it'd be interesting to see how that head sculpt turns out compared to this one. Because Art Figures nailed this one. My favourite. One of my favourite pieces in my collection. So if they do that and nail it, Pop Culture Shock, take my money now, eh?
Yeah, no, I'm going to keep a close eye on that one, and if it turns out anyway half decent, that's going in the collection as well. This was the XM Poison Ivy to go with their Batman Rising Sun that they're doing. You know, obviously the very Asian influenced version.
Oh, yes. I've seen a bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the sort of latest one. Oh, they did put out, actually, let's keep going because I might have it. Oh, this was an interesting one. I found this picture. I don't know whose collection it is. This was just put up somewhere and I thought that would be interesting. Have a look at this fucking collection. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cinema Cat Predators.
Look in the back corner. That prime one in the back corner, I see.
Yeah, the 2 Sideshow. Is it 2 or I think there's 2 Sideshow original P1 Marquettes. I think there's 3 Wolf Predators in there somewhere. There's the Cinemaquette Aliens, 4 of them there. So if anyone's looking for a Cinemaquette Predator or one of these Cinemaquette Aliens, they're very old now, these pieces, or a Wolf Predator, or even the P1, this is where they all ended up.
Yeah, and this guy's going to have a fucking field day with Prime 1, isn't he? You can already fucking tell he's going to buy every one that comes out, and he's going to be like, ha, fuck you, I haven't, I'll have 7 of each.
That's right. Could be Omar's place, maybe. Don't know. Well, I don't know whose collection it is. This was just it was just an interesting picture that I thought, holy Christ, that's I already
don't like this guy. I already don't like him.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, this is comparison between the Prime 1 Harley, and she's just gone up for pre-order, and that's obviously the game next to her. Close. Yeah, so just a little bit of a comparison there between the two. So what you're getting and where she came from, which I thought was pretty interesting. Not too bad. And there she is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's really, really, really nice.
Best Harley.
Oh, pardon me? Yeah, that looks, I agree. That's the best Harley out there, I think. Looks great.
Yeah, easily.
Make it quarter scale and buy it. And Prime 1, they have that quarter scale license now, so I might be doing that. Anyway, let's keep moving. This is was a oh god, I can't remember. It came from somewhere in Europe. There was some show somewhere, and they had the costumes up for Rogue One, which was be in cinemas at the end of the year. And I thought some of those were interesting. It looks, they look a lot more down and dirty. And if you look really closely at the one in the middle here, doesn't that remind you of someone's jacket?
Yes.
Whose jacket does that remind you of?
And this is interesting shit now. You telling me Han Solo could be in this film?
No, I don't think he's going to. But that looks a lot like Han Solo's jacket from Hoth.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to just pay fan service or whatever. I don't know, but that is like too close for I don't know about that. It's like really close, isn't it? Too close.
These are a few close-ups of the same thing.
A bit like Mercenaries, don't they? More than Rebels.
Yeah. Very grey, very beige. Okay, some new ones. This is obviously the Sideshow premium format. I said earlier when you were getting the Pacific Rim figure there that you had this.
Yeah.
Some people have started to get this, and here is a actual production piece. So if anyone is out there who's watching, and this is what you're going to get out of the box. So yeah, it looks like it's turned out really, really well. There he is from the backside again with lot of pictures of Spidey's ass tonight for some reason. I don't know why that is, but anyway.
He has a fantastic art, that's why.
Yes, it's very toned, very toned. This is how he goes together: head, arm, obviously body onto the girder. Oh, pardon me. Let's just go back for a sec. My only concern from day one is, you see his wrist here, where I've got my arrow. All of that body weight is supported on that teeny tiny little wrist. And supposedly Sideshow have put a rod through this arm, but I'm dubious as to how far that rod goes, to be honest with you. And I would say, if there's not a steel rod that goes right through that, through the base, up through his arm, then turns right and goes down through his body, so there's essentially a steel armature there, I would say you're probably going to find that's going to do some funky things in a couple of years. It looks really nice, but I don't trust that pose at all.
Personally, I think what they've done, there's a possibility that there's obviously some part of that body is going to be more hollow than the other side.
Oh, it'd have to be.
And the reason I got that, the reason I got that is if you go back to the picture of Spidey's arse again.
Yep.
Look at the foot and look at down there. Does that not look like a perfectly sort of click in place piece on the foot? The bottom of that makes me think, is that have they hollowed that out and then obviously put that on there? Because
I mean, you would have hoped they've done something like that. I would, even if it's hollow, I'd still be really reticent about picking that up. I don't know. Ever since day one, they've shown that, and Sideshow have said, "Oh yeah, we put a steel rod in there." I saw a picture today on Statue Forum of the Daredevil premium format, and that's got a big steel rod that's in the, I think it's in the left foot. It goes through the base, and we had the first one of those cracked and broken today, and it's in a really really action-orientated pose, really dynamic, but obviously not engineered to last. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this piece might be like that also.
Well,
but
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm with you there. Yeah. Oh,
okay. So talking about Watchmen, let's go back to the future. We were talking about Watchmen earlier this evening. This is the premium art print that Sideshow are putting out. Oh, pardon me, wrong one. This is just a part of it. There is more. If this picture was expanded, you'd see Dr. Manhattan behind, and Night Owl, and Silk Spectre. Anyway, there was a little bit of chatter about our Sideshow going to now do premium formats based on this artwork. Don't know. There's no confirmation on that or anything, but people thought it was interesting that they're doing this art print, that they might, now they have the DC license, we might start getting quarter scale Watchmen BFs.
Well, if they do, my advice to you, if you do ever watch this or accidentally stumble upon this video, take my advice for it. Do exactly what, with these three characters at the front here, do exactly what you're doing on this premium art. Have him like that, and have him, what's his name with the hat again? What's his fucking name? Yeah, it's this guy. Well, him, have that, but have some sort of rain effect on him. Do the quality that you did with the classic Predator statue you did years ago, with that level of water detail. Do that, dripping off his hat, stand him in that static pose. That would be an absolute awesome statue.
Be a winner, wouldn't it?
And then the same with, obviously, the gentleman on the left with the gun. Just put it in that pose. That's all you need. You've done it.
Yep. It'd look good, wouldn't it?
It would. Just like that. And then him with crossing his arms like that. And then when you have them next to one another, they just complement one another, and it look awesome. Yeah,
it looked really nice. So that's a bit of chatter around that. This was some interesting pics I found of a guy who's building I think this is 6 feet long. So it's pretty huge. It's a wooden version of the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so all of this, all wood, all little detail in there.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Well done, because that is awesome. That is art.
Yes, that is all handcrafted, and I thought that those not collectible, well, sort of collectible related in a way, but I thought that was really interesting. God, the amount of hours you'd have to put in to build something like that. Jesus.
You think Hot Toys had an
Oh,
entire team, and he's just probably had himself and a friend or something?
yes.
Oh,
Probably got no friends that didn't have time to pay to build that. I found this as well. Have no
Ooh.
idea where I got it from. No idea where it's came from, but obviously we all know who that is, and we all know the significance of the blue ice down the bottom there.
It's blue jelly.
Yes, exactly. I thought that was pretty good. That looks nice.
It looks, yeah, is that real hair? Is that real
okay.
hair? On the Azimug,
Yeah,
is that real
it's
hair?
a punched hair.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, that's the real. I thought that was nice. And this is a paint up of the XM Batman, the Rising Sun version. So this is it all painted, and these came out not long ago.
I'm liking it.
Reminds me a lot of the Bale Dark Knight costume.
Yeah,
Sort of segmentation, the sort of armor and plates of it.
it's got a bit of a Court of the Owls vibe as well. I get it from it, you know, like very like ancient looking. You know, it's but I like it. I mean, like I've said to you before, XM as a general rule don't do it a lot for me. But I like this piece. I don't know if I'd go out searching for it, lots of money, you know, spending on it. But I think I've missed out on it anyway, haven't I now? With the time slot. But if it ever did come along for a good price, I would definitely pick it up. It's cool.
I don't think anyone will get that for probably under 4 figures. It looks nice. I love the shading and the colours on it. Really detailed, really nice. This is XM Lizard. This is old as well. Yeah, so have a look at that. And XM Red Skull, I think this was just like a, what is it, ZBrush mock-up. No pose or anything. This is just sort of what he'll look like. Looks okay. I can't abide the whole Hydra, you know, Red Skull. Red Skull's a Nazi. Make him a Nazi. Put a swastika on him. I don't like the whole revisionist Hydra version of Red Skull. Okay. So anyway, so this brings us to the end, I think. I don't think there's any. Oh, not yet. So we're at the end. This was my Blu-ray pick of the week. I can't find the box because it's somewhere in my room that's currently being pulled apart. But I was going to talk about the Arrow Video Hellraiser Scarlet box set, which is a relatively new release of Hellraiser 1, 2, 3. All the films have been remastered. They all look pretty good. There's some issues in regards to the framing of Hellraiser 3 because they supposedly have opened up the map on the left-hand side of the frame and you can see things that you probably shouldn't be seeing, but that's the only issue in regards to the transfers. This was a limited edition box set that Arrow put out in November. I think there was 3,000. I think there was 3,000 of them that sold out. It sold out on pre-order and now goes for silly money. And this is the contents of the box set. You got the 3 movies in the 3 sort of digipack cases. You had an extra disc which has got the long form documentary on the making of Hellraiser, which has been slightly edited or cut down to a more manageable length. The name of the documentary, I've forgotten it at the moment. I think it's the Legacy documentary. I'm not sure though. Maybe someone out there can jog my memory. You get these art cards down the bottom here with the set, and this thing here is a 200 page hardback book that has the original short story, Clive Barker's original short story, essays, notes, a whole bunch of stuff on the original film. Really, that's where it concentrates. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, that book, that's a hardbound book, real quality as well. It's not like cheap paper. It's good stuff, and the box is not one of those cheap boxes that you pull apart 2 times and it falls apart. It's good quality material. Again, if you want that, you'll only get it on eBay now, or Gumtree, someone like that, and you'll probably pay a fair bit. When I bought it, it was £35 from Amazon. 35 over about £35 shipped to Australia. Now it's like 100, 150 pounds. It'll set you back for this set. But Arrow are putting out the 3 films again in a much simpler box set, where you don't get the book, you don't get, there's actually another disc in here that's got it's got a few Clive Barker shorts that he made, which are really interesting to see, but that won't be in the new set that they're putting out. So if you're a fan of Hellraiser and you've picked up the Pinhead premium format recently, like I have, you've got to go out and get this set, crack it down, because it's well worth the money. I've talked to, do you know Geo Man, who is part of Rad Titan?
Yeah, I know Geo,
yeah. Alex, his partner in crime, picked up the Hellraiser, and I said to him on their video review that they did he get this set as well? And he just said, no, Alex doesn't. He doesn't collect Blu-rays. He doesn't. Mate, if you're a fan of the films and you're a fan of the character, do yourself a favour, go out and pick it up. You won't regret it. It's a lot of great content on there. And Arrow, if you don't know who they are, they're a UK company who specialise more so in, let's say, cult cinema, and best company out there for releasing film media at the moment, Arrow. They always do a bang-up job, always. Great company. Whatever you buy from them, pardon me, it's going to be quality. They are a great company. And that is all of that.
Okay. I was trying to bloody cancel. I was trying to set it back to normal now.
Well, I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, I'm just trying to. It usually just turns to the person every time they talk. I'm just trying to see how that works now, because I clicked on you before. Not very good at sorting this out.
You get there eventually.
Yeah, but So, shall I do my back figure of the week?
Do your back figure of the week, and then we'll wrap it up.
No problem. Sounds like a good idea. Right. So the piece that I've been wanting to talk about is a piece that I recently ordered, and it's not by a company, and some people will love this, some people probably won't. My answer to that is fuck you, because I like it. So what we'll do is I'll show you now what I'm talking about, because I think it's amazing. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun, and this is it. So this is the 3A Steel Age Batman. It's an artistic interpretation. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of 3A. They do a lot of that sort of stuff.
I've heard of 3A. I've never seen this piece though.
And basically, it's obviously Batman, but it was almost like steel, armored looking. it looks fantastic. It's got these like batarangs and all that sort of stuff. It's got a kind of here. Let's find this here. But here, so the eyes actually light up as well on this.
I don't know why, but when I see that, I get a real sort of steampunk vibe about it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that
Is. I think that's what they've gone for with this piece. It's a very steampunk sort of look, and the weathering on them, the Brie are amazing. I mean, I don't know how much you can see through this, but if you look at the weathering here, you know, you can see almost like where the, you know, it's sort of, you know, like scrape marks and stuff like that. Almost looks like he's been through hell, which I really like. I like I just love the stylistic tone of it, you know. It's one of those pieces that it's unique, so it's not a piece that everyone will have, and it won't appeal to everyone, you know. It'll be one you like or you don't. But I saw this figure when it was first announced, and I thought it looked cool, and then it went up for pre-order. And with the pre-orders, they generally get you to pay in full. So because what they do is they give you a certain time to pre-order a figure, and once that time slot's gone, that's it. You can't get it now. So they're very limited in that way. So I thought I had to get in there. You know, why not?
It's a pretty unique design.
Yeah, and you know, it's something like say unique, and I like when people, you know, go with the artistic sort of look to them. And they've got a blue one as well coming out, but I think it Bat deserves to be in Rob, but you know, I think he deserves the black sort of, you know, the dark looking, you know, Batman. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, I'll just give you a look here. They've done a Spider-Man one as well.
Okay.
So it's very, very unique again, very strange looking. But you know, I like the black Spider-Man, I like the Venom looking one.
That looks good.
So you know, and I think that's the beauty of them. And you got something it's an artistic interpretation. They can do whatever they want, you know. There's no limitations and things like that. And they've started recently also Judge Dredd, or the Dead Judges line as well. So they've started with the Judge here, and all that sort of stuff. So they like, basically they'll take something that's possibly, you know, a real thing, and then they'll put their own little 3A spin on it, which, you know, I don't know about you, like Rob, but I kind of like it, you know. I think it'll fit in my collection quite nicely.
Yeah, no,
it'll be unique.
It'll go well in your collection.
Yeah, and
Batman through the ages.
Yeah, and yeah, like I say, I just like it. I mean, like I say, not everyone will like it. Not everyone will like sort of stylistic look.
It's like sort of XM, you know, doing their thing with Batman as well, putting their spin on it.
Yeah,
doing their own thing with it. So yeah, no, it's he's a real knight, with a knight not in shining armor, but a knight in dirty armor.
Yeah,
which you would expect.
Yeah, and I like, you know, like the bit on the cape, if you can see or hear, like almost like oily look, like it's got stains on it from over the years or whatever. I don't know. I just really like that, I think. It's going to be really good. And out of all the pieces that I'm looking forward to this year, you know, you've got all these fantastic Hot Toys stuff coming out. Prime 1, you know, the list goes on.
Big year. God.
massive year. But out of all of them, I'm most excited to get my hands on this one. I think it's the fascination of them and also the unknown, because this will be my first 3A piece, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. And I think as well, it's one of them you'll go into it with not as many expectations or with more of an open mind, because I've obviously never collected these before, and it's a unique design. So if it is good, it will probably have a bigger impact, you know. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for, you know, for my back figure of the week.
Fantastic.
There's always more to talk about, whereas always, you know, we only have a certain limited time, obviously, being people. Have other things we've got to do. But
right.
We've got a few more. We've got obviously, there's always more things we can talk about. We can always leave that now till next week, because
I'll leave it on one thing that we haven't it was another Prime One announcement, of course, and that is the Turtles, the movie,
yes.
1990 movie Turtles, and I saw all the Prime One Batman stuff that they had at that show, and my wallet thanked me that I wasn't getting any of that. And then I saw those Turtles, and well, I think Prime One have got me, which is I don't know. Yeah. They look really nice. I think that's a nice way to go out. I was trying to find some pics of them really quick.
You got some?
Yeah, I've got one really quick. Let's see if I can share it. It's going to come up. What do we got?
I wanted to say as well, out of all the Prime One stuff, I wanted to say my standout Batman piece was the Batman Beyond. I don't know if you've seen that one. The black and red. I love that piece. It's static pose, but man, does it have so much presence, and the detail is insane. So
detail on all those pieces is pretty crazy. Let's see if I can share this now. Well,
I saw the Turtles. The first thing I thought was, "Oh my god, these are going to fucking sell." You know.
Yeah, well, that's one piece, or not one. It's 4 pieces that I think I probably will be interested in picking up. It depends on, of course, how much they go for.
I think the size Prime One are good, but you know, they're still expensive.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. Everything's expensive now. God.
Oh, they look incredible. I'm just because I like Ninja Turtles. I've seen like the old cartoons and stuff. You know, watch them. And I did see the 80s, is it the 80s or 90s film where they're like dressed up in suits?
I think it was 89 the first film came out. I think 89, 90, somewhere around there.
So are these based off that?
Yes, I think they're based off of that. But I like them. I think they got a nice. They straddle that whole idea of, you know, comic, cartoon, and that certainly the first film quite nicely. You know, they have that. They're not super stylized like the Bay Turtles are. They're much more your classic iteration, which I like. I mean, I'll depending on, again, if the price is decent, I'll probably pick them up. They look really nice.
I love how they all fit together as well. You know, like the slot in, and you can have them in that sort of diorama pose. And the genius of it as well is, even though they're all connect together, you don't need a 360 view to appreciate that as a diorama. They're all facing forward, so everything about that is smart. The fact they all comes together, the detail looks amazing, but the fact that they're also all looking forward means that you're not losing much of detail, and the details you are losing are just the minor shit like the back of that wall. So no one cares about. So you know,
I think it's they put Leonardo up on the wall at the back. just so he sort of stands above the other three. So when you do put them in that sort of interlocking base, it all flows really well from your visual perspective there, which I thought was really nice. They look really good. Definitely not picking up the any of the Batman or Arkham stuff, but those I'm interested in, and quarter scale as well. That fit right in with everything else. And that's it. I'm done. Got nothing else.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that was another good chat, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots to talk about.
There was almost too much to talk about, especially with Prime. Well, I can't believe you think about it. Most of our chat was about Prime 1.
Yeah.
You think about that, you go, geez, how much shit are they really pushing out right now? At that rate, at that size, and at that quality, I think they're the Hot Toys of the statue realm.
Yeah, could be.
The wow factor. I mean, Hot Toys for me, and you probably already think the same as well, will always be that, I think, well, for now anyway, the top dogs when it comes to head sculpts. But Prime 1, just with that Man of Steel, for me, is showing that they are willing to, put up a fight, and the competition is there, which is great. I mean, you always need more competition. More competition, the better people perform.
Competition is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's my side.
There's not enough.
Because they got too comfortable, too complacent, and they're like, oh, well, we're the only big company with all these licenses, so whatever we do, they're going to buy it anyway, because that's, that's about all you're getting.
So, okay, you enjoy Deadpool on Thursday then. We'll look forward to getting a review next week.
Yeah, I'll give you my thoughts next week on that. I'm very looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting to see how that one turns out. But I'm excited.
Word is it's pretty good, so I think you'll enjoy yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Keep his fingers crossed. Right, mate. Well, like I say, thanks again for coming on the chat.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Like I say, I don't just host this at the moment. You're hosting it just as much as me. So, you can keep going when I can't. So I appreciate that. And if anybody's watching, thank you for watching. I don't know how many people we will get to watch. Doesn't really matter, but. Hopefully we can get Helmy on again soon. That would be good.
Yeah, Mark might join us next week again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So like I say, good chat again, and
absolutely.
Just a quick question before we end this chat. What do you want to do at the same time next week, or do you want to change the date again? How would that suit you, Rob?
It suits me fine. If you want to go back to Thursday, it probably is better on Thursday, because I might have an extra hand to help me with the little one, so I might be able to get away a bit earlier.
No problem. Well, that'll be fine. We can probably put that back on to next Thursday then. Gives it a little bit more time as well to prepare. So that'll be good.
Okay, sounds good then.
Rightio, so great chat, and I say thanks for watching, thanks for coming on, Rob, as always, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you have a nice one, Ryan. I'll talk to you next week then.
And you too. All right.
Have a better one.
See you later.